So, last week when I dropped Sam off, we were talking about something on the way over. We thought about Snoop Dogg, right? So Snoop Dogg is someone who looks pretty old for someone his age, and Sam didn't have date at the time, so we couldn't check how old he was. But Sam got out of the car. She goes, "Well, he's got to be pushing 70, right?" Snoop Dogg is 48.
He's a grandpa and he has like 3 grandkids. So like
I get why you thought
in
that.
the context of my life, my grandparents were like in their 70s by the time like me and my younger cousins came around.
But Sam, you do realize
I just assumed that.
But you realize that if Snoop Dogg was 70, he would have been born in 1949. It's 5 years after World War II.
So we just had like a really good time, like making jokes about like Martin Luther King bumping gin and juice as he's writing the "I Have a Dream" speech.
No, he's walking up the bridge protesting, and it's like, doom, doom. You hear like the water being poured.
Yeah.
Or the gin, I suppose.
He like performs at Woodstock.
Why do you think so old?
Well, because he does look rather old.
He's got gray hair. Everyone treats him like he's this old like institution, which he is.
Yeah, he's a legend.
He's a legend, and like I don't know. He's Uncle Snoop. He's got like 5 grandkids. Like he's so.
Well, that's just because he has a lot of kids.
Yeah, I know. He had a lot of kids in a short period of time.
He did have a lot of kids in a short period of time. I can't get over. I love the idea
and like
of
the next
Snoop Dogg
2 days,
being born in 1949.
Just like, all right.
Like Snoop Dogg would have been alive in the 50s. He would have been alive in the 60s. Like he would have been like 48 by the time he made Doggy Style.
He's what, 41?
He's 48.
Oh, he's 48 now.
Yeah, he's 48 now.
He's 48.
Welcome to the Chill Spot Podcast.
Hello.
Brad's here.
My friend Brad is here.
Yeah,
this
the
is
other
my
Brad.
The Brad that I have,
Hi.
not Mendez, Shirk Boy.
The aforementioned legendary Shirk Boy.
Yeah.
Correct.
We couldn't get him to answer his calls, so we were just like, "Hey,
Get the fuck over here."
Sam and
Come
I,
here.
we drove to Kitchener and grabbed him by the ankles and dragged him out of his home.
yeah."
How do you know how I like to move?
We threw him in the trunk of my
ankle
car.
pulling exclusively.
And then we brought him here and we were recording.
And we're here now.
Well, this is nice, Brad, because you're our second guest.
Yeah.
Second
official guest.
Second official guest. We've tried other guests because we've been talking about this ever since we got them, but we have a much more reliable mic setup now. Mm-hmm. So before with the USB microphone as my little laptop.
We just didn't want to bring anybody around just to potentially have our gear not work.
Well, yeah, because the last time we brought our last guest in, who will actually officially be on the show soon, we had to be like, okay, well, let's just go get dinner then.
Yeah.
Is it a surprise on who it is?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
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 We'll build up to
It's Martin Scorsese.
Oh my God, can you believe it?
Brad!
We finally
Sorry.
got him, you guys.
Sorry.
Dude.
Can you believe that, Showspot fans? The Scorsese. It's like just some other guy named Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
Much like how topical topic.
Get there.
Like,
Get there,
who are you
bud.
talking about?
Onision
Yeah.
Oh.
in hot news
Yeah.
he served the wrong Chris Hansen.
Get out.
Amazing.
The wrong Chris Hansen.
Get out. He did some other Chris Hansen?
Yeah, and it was like, and the other Chris Hansen was like, "Hi, no, not me."
So hang on, let me get this straight. The Chris Hansen that is involved in the Onison case is the Chris Hansen.
It is the
To
Catch a Predator.
To Catch a Predator, Chris
Predator, not
Hansen.
Dateline, yeah.
Please take a seat, would you?
Absolutely.
You came here for the cookies.
Instead, you got Chris Hansen.
Could you imagine not being a pedophile and like
I can do that pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah.
every day.
You mean like
life.
Every
right now,
damn day.
currently?
But no. So can you imagine like not being a pedophile, but also being like a friend of a close family who like has a young child, and like you have a good relationship with the kid, and you get invited over to the kid's house one day to like babysit or whatever, and you show up, you put your bags down, and you're like, all right, like maybe she'll want to watch a movie first, and you turn the corner to the kitchen, and Chris Hansen's sitting there, and you're like, I think that there was a mistake here.
That's what they always do. They're like,
Yeah, and it's like, why don't you have a seat?
Have a seat.
Have a seat. Let's talk.
Well, he has a YouTube, like, it's not
Chris Hansen?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he
he's,
does.
He's got like
he
a
does.
YouTube live streaming thing that's called Have a Seat with Chris Hansen.
No way.
And it's like an interview type thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
So they're currently talking about Onison. Yeah.
Well, didn't Chris Hansen get in
And
some
they can
trouble
do that
himself
because he's not in
recently?
court because he summoned the wrong Chris Hansen.
What a fucking idiot.
I know.
Onison's going to jail, man. Fuck that guy.
Yeah,
fucking
man. I hope he
hope
goes
so.
away
I fucking hate that
forever.
guy.
I hope he goes away forever.
Speaking of people who were in jail and subsequently no longer in jail because they're dead, I was watching Netflix's newest sort of like true crime. I've been on a real true crime kick lately.
Okay.
I listened to this podcast called Cold, which was great. You should listen to. And I watched the Aaron Hernandez documentaries.
I've heard about that.
They're good. I really enjoyed it. I had no idea about this Aaron Hernandez stuff. That guy is a fucking crazy person. Like, they go into his upbringing and like his battle with CTE, which is like, concussions and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I don't want to give too much away, but that guy had some issues.
Well, I was telling you this. I saw so I watched I scrolled across it and I watched the trailer for it and the whole thing about his wife and somebody on Twitter did one of those bombaclot things.
Ugh, don't even start on
With
that.
pictures of
That's not what it means.
pictures
That's
of.
true.
Let me finish.
Go
This is
ahead.
a good topic.
Go
Let me
ahead.
finish.
Uh-huh.
Pictures of Aaron Hernandez's wife, and it said bombaclot, and somebody retweeted it and said
Like
bad
worse.
sister.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know what that means.
I can elaborate a little bit.
Yeah.
So, Aaron Hernandez, basically the way that I put it in the documentary was that his wife, whose name I forget, had a choice. Because Aaron Hernandez, the what he ended up going to jail for is that he killed his wife's sister's fiance.
Okay.
He shot him dead.
Okay.
When it came down to it, the sister, in her testimony, essentially had to choose her sister or Aaron Hernandez.
Okay, and she chose.
Aaron Hernandez.
Oh.
And they had a lifelong friendship. She got on the stand and she was like, "We've never been close. We never talk. Like, we're not even really like
About her sister.
about her sisters."
Wow.
Meanwhile, it is well documented that they were like inseparable growing up.
Wow.
She chose her dirtbag murderer
dirtbag
husband
husband.
over her own sister.
That's
Bad
awful.
move.
Bad sister move, yeah.
That's awful.
Bad move.
That's a
Bad
bad call,
sister.
ref.
Bad
That is
sister.
That's a bad call, ref.
Yep.
So, Bumbaclot.
Bombaclot.
What pisses me off is that that's not what Bumbaclot means.
Yeah.
Like, I understand.
I mean, like, no one's. All I know is what I've gleaned from Twitter, and when this first started becoming a thing, there was a conversation around like, is that what bombaclot means? Are we misusing the term bombaclot?
I'll Google it.
And basically, like, this person who was very nebulous about it, but they were essentially like, bombaclot means a bunch of different things, and I can't necessarily translate them from patois to English because it's sort of foggy in the middle there, but it means a lot of things, and it's just like.
So, I mean, you take this with a grain of salt. As of November 1st of 2019, on the Urban Dictionary definition.
Oh, great. Okay.
So,
Yeah, grain of salt.
Bumbaclot is a curse word used in
Yeah.
Jamaica when surprised, angry, etc.
That's
It is a
always what
part
I
of the
assumed.
Yeah.
patois colloquial language. You could say it is an equivalent to fuck.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not
like,
gonna.
yeah.
They phonetically spell this out with an accent. I'm not gonna do the accent.
Yeah.
But
Thank
you. See me a study. Turn down the Bumbaclot music. Roughly translates to you can't see that
Yeah.
I'm studying. Turn down the fucking music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's more or less.
That's what I always assumed that
okay.
it was. I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's an expression
Right.
of anger or surprise.
Okay.
If I'm to understand what's written here.
So I can see how like maybe, and like this is definitely like a deed done by the white man, but I can
Hi.
see where you would.
We have the white man on the
Not
podcast
me-
today.
I'm not
Hello.
the white
You're
man.
the white man.
I am just a white man.
This is gonna be
But-
Chill Spot podcast episode whatever featuring the white man.
I can see
Please
how
continue.
like someone who's not Jamaican and has never had any sort of close interaction with patois in their lives could glean how Jamaicans use bombaclot and use it as a term to then incite said anger
Yeah.
and frustration that bombaclot is used for.
Totally.
Because like you say bombaclot on Twitter and then you put a controversial picture underneath it and you basically just say like have at her,
Well,
it's like throwing a T-bone into
That's-
like
yeah.
a pit of dogs
Right.
and
Well,
just saying
the
like
thing is,
bombaclot,
though-
like go like have at it, tear each other apart.
I feel like people are being. See, I get that, but sko patumana
Scopatumana.
actually does not actually translate to what do you think.
Yeah.
So that's
Use that instead.
Is that how you say that?
That's how I've been saying it in my head.
I just
You know
haven't
what?
even attempted.
because like
Again.
sco space pa to space to space mana.
Mm-hmm.
So scopa to mana, you give it its own.
okay. So
syllable
interesting. This
stresses
is
and
actually
stuff.
kind of cool. So on the Daily Dot from July 27th of 2019, I skopatumana is a slang term in Hawaiian culture.
Okay.
The phrase means both what experience does this remind you of and I'll hit you.
Those are two very different things.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can try to find like a phonetic
That's
spelling
like
so I can
like
pronounce
in Japanese, how like the word for mom and the word for horse is very different, and if you stress one syllable wrong, you're saying horse.
The other thing, yeah.
Yeah.
it. Okay, so apparently it doesn't actually translate to anything. It is a slang term.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's sort of like bumbaclot in that way, in that it doesn't. You're not going to find bumbaclot or skopatumana in the dictionary. You can't open up Merriam-Webster and find a definition for it.
Yeah.
So if you fine. I'm willing to not be such a dick about it. If it doesn't have a fucking definition, and then it can mean whatever you want it to mean.
And it's slang. I'm always concerned about like taking things from specifically like marginalized cultures, like cultures of color, and using them to mass appeal. That's always going to be a concern of mine. But it's not like it's been bastardized. I'm talking about skopatumana. I think we've bastardized bombaclot. I think we've totally bastardized it.
I've been saying bumbaclot, not me specifically, but
like, whoa.
kids that I knew have been saying bumbaclot since I was in high school.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that in grade 9 there is this Jamaican kid who would call everybody a bumbaclot. He said you're bumbo.
Because it gets shortened to bombo sometimes. Yeah.
Or the big in Gonzaga was bati. You're a bati boy.
Oh, okay.
Which means like ass man.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're
I don't
bati
know
boy.
how I've heard that, but I've heard that.
It's everywhere, right?
I've always heard blood clot as a Jamaican
Blood clot? That's another one.
insult. You call someone a blood clot?
I wonder if blood clot is a misheard bumbaclot. You know what I mean?
No,
I wonder if
I've
white
seen
kids.
I've seen it typed out before.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, blood clot.
Well, we had a good week this week, guys. I mean, Sam and I celebrated our 4-year anniversary.
Woo!
Very happy about that.
Congratulations.
We went to a couple sick dinners.
Yeah.
The 3 of us watched The Irishman.
Right.
Yes.
You want to give your 2-minute piece on Irishman?
Let's talk about The Irishman.
Yeah.
I did like it.
I really liked The Irishman.
It didn't move me as much as it moved others.
I was super engrossed in that story personally.
Yeah.
But please, I want you to like elaborate. Or I mean, someone else.
I just think you really gotta like.
You gotta be into that kind of movie for sure.
3-hour movies that span a literal lifetime.
Yep.
It's a lot.
And you see every fucking minute of that guy's life.
Yeah.
Like
every conversation, every birthday, not every birthday, but you know what I mean? Like
there's a few birthdays here and there.
It's a birthday here and there.
You notice him getting older and stuff, and I just
it's deeply tragic.
Really disappointed in how Martin Scorsese treated the women characters in that
What ones?
Well, there's that, but there's also that, like
exactly.
You know, it seemed to me like Robert and like spoiler alert because for this whole fucking thing.
I'm gonna put up a time code right now when we will no longer be talking about Irishman. Go click it if you don't want to hear this conversation.
Sure, like in the description of the episode.
It'll be on screen for the video.
Okay.
And then right now,
28 minutes 21 seconds.
In Microsoft Sam voice for the people who listen on the Spotify.
Sure. So like, it seemed like his daughter was like so important to him, and the oldest one played by Frank Sheeran's daughter played by Anna Paquin.
Oh, I forgot about her.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. That is my biggest problem.
They did set up a lot and didn't really go anywhere with that.
Yeah.
But I have my 2 piece on that. You go first.
They set up her I thought we were gonna have like a doll's house moment where she goes off on him about everything that he's been in her entire life and really just put shit into perspective for him. And I guess if that had happened, he ultimately wouldn't have killed what's his face,
Jimmy
Hoffa, because like he just wouldn't have done it. So maybe that's why. But I just think why bother then? Don't feature his daughter so much.
My rebuttal to that is that the ending of the movie was the most profoundly sad part of that movie.
Yeah.
Because after all this shit, after all the shit that Frank does. After all him trying to make people happy, he's the one guy in this whole crew that just wants to make everybody happy. He does all the dirty work so other people don't.
Yep.
And he's by himself. No family, no friends, nothing. The fact that his daughter didn't give him the satisfaction of yelling at him, even though he so badly wanted it, He so badly wanted to not to reconcile. I think he wanted his daughter to chew him out. I think he wanted his daughter to tell him
when he went to go like see her at the back.
and then talk to the sister.
Yeah.
And the sister's like, you just don't understand.
Yeah.
How you don't understand? Like you, as much as I think he's endearing, and I think that it's a well-written character, he's a mobster.
Yeah.
That's
Like I think about how sad I feel for Frank Sheeran, and I'm like, yeah, but he also killed people. You know, it's a conflicting, interesting thing. So I agree. I do think that the daughter narrative could have been a bit more clear.
And even just like women as a whole. Right?
Women as a whole definitely should have been involved a bit more.
You know?
I'll
And,
totally
like,
agree.
Do you want to like?
I just think it's so profoundly sad that he never got the reconciliation
Right.
or the satisfaction, and I believe that was the point.
Right.
The fact that this man who does horrible things under the guise of trying to please everyone
Yeah.
is all alone
Yeah.
to deal with everything he's did by himself.
Right.
You know, he killed his best friend.
Yeah.
All of his best friends are dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like it's so deeply tragic.
Yeah.
But of course, you have to remember that he's a mobster and he killed people, and that
Right,
sympathy is a hard thing to come by.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like
know?
you don't want to Skylar White this whole thing.
Of course.
But
I do agree with you with the women, though.
I just had a problem with like, and so like, yeah, good point about the daughter, but then I think about like the wives.
Yeah.
And how like the wives are
They
just
weren't characters.
like they're a walking talking eye roll
Pretty
from the
much.
beginning of the whole thing, you know. They're like, oh, like the movie opens and they're like, oh, we're going on this road trip. Oh, well, we have to factor in like smoke breaks for the wives because like they have to smoke.
'Cause they gotta
they
have
have to
cigarettes.
smoke. And it's like dudes have been smoking in movies all this time, and
James Dean.
if the roles were reversed, like it would have been like, oh, well, then we got to factor smoke breaks into our road trip, and then Joe Pesci would be like, of course we smoke.
Right.
We gotta factor in smoke breaks.
But
I don't
instead,
want
it's kind of like
car.
an eye roll, like, oh, these women.
Ah,
Yeah,
women
yeah.
want to stop to smoke. Oh my god! It's
I
like,
agree. I agree.
like I don't like that. But I don't know Scorsese's filmography super well, to be perfectly honest.
I'm not as familiar either.
I've seen Goodfellas, I've seen Wolf of Wall Street, I've seen The Irishman, and I think that's it. To be honest,
You've probably seen The Departed, haven't
Side
you?
note.
I love The Departed. I've seen The Departed.
I was gonna say. Remember what? Sorry.
But just my end thought was just like Scorsese does not treat women well in
Right.
movies. They are always an afterthought. They are.
I'll have to see more of his movies, but
Yeah.
I can imagine that's a pretty...
From what I've seen,
Sound
women are
thought.
often, with maybe the exception of Wolf of Wall Street, because Margot Robbie's character is pretty badass. But yeah,
there was a lot of like
women are
general
not his
disrespect of
forte.
women in that movie, though.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of like calling women and like using
yeah, but
women
as far
sex.
as far as physical screen time goes, Margot Robbie's character in Wolf of Wall Street gets a pretty
it's
good
great,
deal.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally, in my opinion, skyrocketed Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
But
Man, I can't wait for Dan to hear this.
I know, I was about to say, I can hear all my film friends unfollowing me on Twitter as we speak.
that fucking guy.
I will admit, I have to see more Scorsese films. Like,
Okay.
I think we just went over the 4 that I have seen, which is Goodfellas, Wolf of Wall Street,
Yeah.
Departed, and The Irishman.
Okay.
But in those 4 that I've seen, like, women aren't very important
Sure.
in any of those movies, and
Cool.
they're kind of annoyances, you know, when they do show up.
Depicted as such,
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, they're depicted as needy and like superficially needy too.
Right.
It's not even like, oh, like I wish my husband was more often. It's just like, I want smoke breaks. I want a divorce.
Right.
Could you chalk that off to just because of the 4 that you've seen? Could you chalk that off to being like, oh, that's just like the time that they're set in when women weren't like.
The Departed?
Well, okay, not The Departed, but like Wolf
I
of
mean,
Wall
I don't
Street,
think women are in The
Irishman,
Departed at all.
Goodfellas.
I don't think there's a single female
I
character in
don't
The
think so.
Departed that I can
Speaking
remember.
of
I've
The
never seen
Departed.
The Departed.
When we
So
finished
good.
watching The Irishman, I told you that was the first Scorsese movie I saw, and you guys were all like, "Really?"
Yeah.
I lied. I did see The Departed.
Okay, well,
I
yeah,
was just
yeah,
very
yeah.
young when I saw The Departed.
Oh, fair.
I just wanted to say that. Right now.
It's not a
Departed is
movie you're
great.
supposed to see
No,
when you're
well,
young.
not very young, but I was like,
I was a baby.
I was like early teens.
But you've talked about how you felt. I talked about how I felt. I mean, long story short, I really liked it.
Yeah.
It's the only 3-hour movie that I've really fucking enjoyed like this much.
Yeah.
I really like because Conrad he was watching this with us as well. Made a joke to say like, you know, when you watch movies as a group, there's gonna be jokes. We're gonna make bits.
Yes.
I was silent through that whole movie.
you were.
Because
Yeah.
I was really fucking into it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god! Like, I think we made that stupid joke about the slumber party with Frank
Yes,
and
the mobster
Frank.
slumber party.
That was funny.
So fun.
But so you know, my opinion isn't super interesting. I liked it. And I like most things about it. I agree with your criticism. I'm interested to hear what you think, Brad. I actually don't know. I haven't talked about it with you at all.
All right. Okay, so
Girl.
at the mentality that I thought that it was the first Scorsese movie I saw,
Right.
I didn't think that it was terrible.
Yeah.
I would agree with what you said. Women very underappreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Women got the doo-doo end of the stick here.
Got the stinky doo-doo end.
The stinky, yeah.
So eloquently put.
I had a better experience watching it with a bunch of people. I don't think that, and I think I had this realization like the day after I watched it. If I went to watch that by myself, I don't think I would have finished it.
It would have been tougher for sure.
I think I would have, not to say that's a boring movie.
It's just long.
It did have me enthralled.
Yeah.
It's just, it's long. Yeah. I would have given up. I would have watched it another day later and then been like, oh, well, I've forgotten how we got to this point.
Right.
But no, I liked it.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to like really. I can't pinpoint anything that I truly think that they should like cut out or change.
Yeah,
No, yeah, nothing
that's
really.
fair.
Like
There's no,
I
like,
think
oh,
if you
could do
really,
without that.
I think if you really, God, see, I don't agree with this. This is me playing devil's advocate again. I think like gun to your head, like gun to the editor's head, you have to cut something. You could have cut some of those. There were like little dinky conversations.
It would have been like
a fish in the backseat conversation.
A
like,
line or two.
However, I think that those, and this is me stepping out of my devil's advocate shoes because I also love like slice of life stuff. And,
Totally.
Right.
You know, like seeing how people like live and talk to each other normally, not under the guise of like pressure or conflict. I think that seeing them talk to each other was very refreshing.
Yeah.
And helped with the 3-hour time slot
Absolutely.
that it holds.
The fact that they let them have fun.
Yes.
And enjoy each other's company.
It wasn't just like straight up mob shit
It was
all the way
It
through.
wasn't business. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah, it wasn't
Well,
business all the time.
You know what? Like, okay, I think that rings true, and I think that rings true. And okay, this is the biggest spoiler for The Irishman. So if you listen up to this point,
you really should
I
stop
suggest you
listening.
skip ahead.
Yeah.
But at the end of the movie, when Russ silently tells Frank that he needs to go kill Jimmy, like there's barely an exchange of words, and the reason why they do it is because you have this 2.5 hours of context of like 30 years of these two's relationship.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, it hits more. It hits harder.
he didn't even have to explicitly say, but Frank knew and Russ knew because they have such a well-developed relationship.
Right. Yeah.
And I think if you were to cut out any scene between them, like it would lose it. That scene would not hit as hard.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, what did he say? Like he said, like it is what it is, or it's what it is,
Something like that.
something to that effect. And I was like, I'm gonna start fucking crying. Like this, I swear to God, like the scene that hit the hardest for me emotionally was in the prison when they're all old, and you have we have Frank and Russ at the table, and they're dipping bread in the wine like they used to.
You tweeted about this, didn't you?
And they're really, I did tweet about it, and they're really struggling. Like, that to me, like, I know this is probably a bit more of the personal thing, but that brought me back because, like, all my grandparents are dead. I've seen them all at the end of their lives. And, like, that's that.
It made you,
like, barely being able to hold bread, like, reminiscing on old things, doing something that they've done for 40 fucking years.
Yeah.
Like, I was gonna start fucking crying.
Yeah.
It was like the most profoundly sad scene in that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if anyone agrees, but like I really
And sort of just
get it.
That hit
talk
hard.
About, like,
Yeah.
just talk about how to talk back to your point about Frank being a people pleaser and winding up ultimately alone. This fucking guy who told him to kill his best friend winds up peacefully dying in jail.
Yeah.
Like comfortably as you can in jail before he does.
Yeah.
Leaving him alone to just be with what he's
to
done.
deal with what he told him to do.
To just reckon with what he's done for the rest of his life, completely alone.
Yep. But the only person that Frank trusted more than Jimmy Hoffa was Russ.
Yeah.
Like those two were the oldest friends out of any of the friends.
Most important people in his life.
And I just think that I thought it was a really beautiful movie.
Yeah.
Cinematography wise, I thought it was great.
Oh, absolutely.
Some great shots.
Yep.
I mean, we kept joking because there were these, like, you could
Lingering
tell,
shots.
you could tell that Martin Scorsese basically you kept describing it as Netflix gave him a blank check.
Yeah.
Because there were
an infinite budget, if you will.
There were 2-second clips where like a car blew up.
Twice.
And it's like,
he had a lot of fun with
Twice.
those explosions.
And then he sunk a fleet of taxis in the water, and it's like, this is what it's like when you let artists do exactly what they want and give them as much money as they deserve to make their art with. This is what it looks like.
Could you imagine being a filmmaker though and having like a giant like Netflix, which theoretically has infinite money, be like, hey, did you want to make whatever you want?
You want to do that.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, please.
Okay, please.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah. And then having the wherewithal to use that money correctly
Definitely.
and produce an Academy Award nominated film.
And I think it'll win.
Must
I don't
be so nice.
It's definitely going to win.
something. I
Something.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, no
I would even
doubt.
give De Niro Best Actor. I thought he did fucking
It's like
great.
it's like
the
holding
filter.
the door open for the elderly. You just do it.
Pay your respects.
You just do it.
Adam
It's
Driver
just-
will win an
it's
Oscar some other
disrespectful.
fucking time.
They got time.
It's
Adam
definitely
Driver
not going to
has
be for
time.
Marriage Story.
No
please.
way.
I haven't
No
seen
way.
Marriage Story yet. That's the one that you saw without me.
I watched it by myself. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
nice. Yeah.
That one I'm actually very interested to see because I love stuff like that. I love. Well,
It's also not very long. I
slice
think
of
it's only
life,
like an hour
right?
and a half,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Yeah.
Considering that the
I'm
last
also
like three
very-
movies you've seen.
I'm also very interested in the disintegration of marriages, but that's just a child of divorce thing. Yeah.
But
Thank you.
Like the process of when you realize that you have
Because
to
I
not
was
be
too
married to
young,
this person
and
anymore.
potentially you were as well.
No, I was 16 when my parents divorced.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, then I was too
was
young
very
to get
conscious
the
for all of it.
behind the scenes of all that.
I was too young, but it came up from behind me and slapped me
Right.
in the face. I literally I don't want to get too into it, but
Of course not.
I tricked my parents into telling me that they were getting a divorce.
I'm
And I
fine.
didn't think it was gonna work out that way.
Right.
For my ease of convenience, are we done talking about The Irishman?
I think so.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to mention one more thing that I think we
Good
all
job,
liked.
Marty.
Wait, way to go, Mart.
My final
Way to go,
favorite
Mark.
small detail about The Irishman was the background characters whose fates would pop up in front of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
To be like, in 2001, he was shot 5 times in the face.
Yeah.
I thought that would kind of worked as a funny comedic thing, but I was talking to Buddy Steve about the
Yeah.
movie because he's a huge Scorsese fan. He loved it.
So he's
Yeah.
watched it like 5 times.
More than likely.
Yeah.
But he pointed out how interesting it is to point out that all of these guys end up the same way. It doesn't matter
All
where you
shot.
start.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you go.
Yeah.
You're either going to end up dead
Yeah.
or dead.
Yeah.
Like when you join this life, you die. That's
Yeah.
it. You die sometimes gruesomely.
Well, there was the
No,
one guy.
something that I appreciate about Scorsese movies at least, and I think if this is one of those cases of if you side with this man, then you're missing the point.
Yeah.
I don't think Martin Scorsese glorifies mob life.
Not at all.
I don't think so at all.
I don't think he's trying to make it
I
seem
think,
pleasant at
I
all.
think Goodfellas looked like a miserable experience. I think that The Departed was not anything I would want to live
Could
through.
you fucking imagine
The
being told by your
Irishman's-
best friend to kill your other best friend?
Yeah.
And then doing it because that's how you live?
Yeah, Brad, what if you came up to me and you were like, listen, you
Look,
got to kill Conrad.
Conrad.
You have to kill Conrad.
Not Conrad.
That is the
I'd be
last
like-
person.
Excuse me. Well, that would hurt the most because I've literally called Conrad like my surrogate brother.
Yeah,
Because we've lived with each other for a combination
Combined,
He's the
yeah.
fucking
combined
best.
8 months.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I've never lived with somebody my own age in that capacity ever in my life. So
Yeah.
the fact that I've done that with him, I feel super close to him. If one of my friends from Squad walked up to me and were like, "Listen, you got to kill Conrad. He's too much. He's obnoxious. He's the
much.
worst. We've
You hear that,
tried
Conrad?
telling
You're
him
too
to
much.
we tried telling him to fix his behavior, and he just won't do it. You got to kill him.
Yeah.
Take it back a bit, Conrad.
Yeah.
Hey, Conrad, dial it down.
Hey,
Yeah.
buddy,
Knock her off 10%.
you're at an 11.
I'm going to strangle you with your ponytail. Is that too much?
Conrad has a very long ponytail for context.
context.
No,
Yeah.
Conrad has a beautiful set of hair.
Yeah,
Head
yeah.
of hair.
He's
not
got a
set of
great,
hair.
he's got a great head of hair.
A lovely plug-in hair. No, that's
yeah.
not true. That's not true. Conrad has a lovely...
Conrad's hair is real.
So, okay.
His extensions are
Spoiler talk for
that
Irishman.
weave, girl.
Spoiler talk for Irishman is officially ended.
Yeah,
Yes.
Welcome back for those who have clicked the link.
yeah.
How are you?
You doing
Yeah,
well?
no.
Good. Me too.
Yeah, if someone told me that, I would just,
Like, fuck you, buddy.
Yeah. Fuck all this
I'd
shit.
be like, shoot me.
So we won't talk about
Kill me.
other movies as extensively because we haven't all seen the other one. But you and I saw Parasite,
Yeah,
and holy shit, what a movie!
yeah.
Like, guys, I will refuse to talk about any more details about this movie. If you're listening at home and you're on the fence, go see it.
Just go see it.
Go see it.
I was on the fence about it because it was described as like a dark comedy thriller. And
and
I
thriller can
find
sometimes-
Right, I
I
remember
find
you
that
saying
people
that.
are
It can mean
very
horror.
generous with
Yeah.
the term thriller because what
Yeah.
is just a thriller to some is horror to
Horror.
me, like pure horror to me. You'll be fine. If you don't,
It's not.
do-
It's
if you
not a
don't-
scary movie.
If you're okay with blood, but you don't do well with like horror, you'll be fine.
If you're prone to anxiousness, you're gonna feel anxious.
Yeah,
I'd say the last half of this movie is like a building.
I guess.
What's a boiling point? The
Yeah,
whole
it's a-
movie's about boiling.
But I think about anxiety, and it's like, and forgive me for being nitpicky here. It didn't give me anxiety. I felt tense because the movie was trying to elicit that, and it did
I
it
guess I
successfully.
meant you'll feel very tense.
Yeah.
But,
The last bit is very tense.
yeah, we need to make sure that we're being specific, of course.
Yeah.
So because you said that you were iffy on seeing it because you thought like thriller. Knowing you both saw it,
Yeah.
unrelated to any sort of current movie, I guess. How would you, Cameron, feel? How do you think Sam would handle Midsummer now? Do you think that she still would not be able
Not
to do
the
it?
same.
No?
No, Parasite, it's too different.
Yeah, because I don't know anything
See,
about...
okay, fine. Without giving too much away for about either of these movies, I think they're both fantastic. Parasite
You can
is...
spoil Midsummer because I'm never going to see it.
Well, anyway, so Parasite isn't a horror movie at all.
Right.
Like, there's literally nothing scary about it.
But would you argue
Yeah.
would you argue that Midsummer is horror?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah?
I think Midsommar is a horror movie because I felt fucking horror from start to finish.
That's true.
It's
very true.
Like, okay, fine. If you would describe Parasite as a raise in tension, I would describe Midsummer as a full-blown anxiety attack from
Yes.
start to finish.
Okay.
Like, I think what
Literally a character has multiple anxiety attacks.
I felt what I would describe as anxious
Yes.
throughout the entire fucking film.
From honest to God start
From about minute 5 to about minute 155.
to whenever the hell it ends.
Yeah, whenever
From
it ended.
credit rolling.
Yeah, that movie, I don't think you should ever see Midsummer, Sam. I don't think you'd ever recover from that movie. I'm 100% serious. Because, like,
well, like
phenomenal movie,
I've told you, my
you and I
problem...
played Blair Witch, which, like, wasn't really that scary. And you told me you didn't sleep for, like, a week.
I did... Yeah.
Really?
I slept, but I had a hard time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, that, but
I slept with my salt lamp on full
and
brightness.
I'm not
for a
criticizing
week.
you, but if that's
Instead
how you...
of like the lowest setting
if
that
that's
I
how
usually
you
have it
reacted
at.
to Blair Witch, then you should just write off horror. Because, like, I don't think... No, wait. Could you imagine her in fucking Hereditary or something?
No, see, that's more horror to me than Midsummer was.
I'd say Hereditary is a more traditional horror. But Midsummer is... I would still describe it as horror. Because it's just
Hereditary
Because there are
so
horrific
scary.
things. There are
Very
horrific
horrific.
things that
Yeah.
happen, yeah.
For sure.
Hereditary still bothers me because I love Toni Collette and I want to see her in everything all the time.
And she's so fucking good in that
She's
movie, dude.
amazing in that movie.
So fucking
Toni
good.
Collette has been amazing. You don't have to tell me shit.
Like, I fucking know that.
I knew that. Sorry, I'm trying to swear
Speaking of
less.
amazing
I'm trying to
and
swear
Ari
less
Aster
so my
movies,
auntie
Florence
can...
Pugh,
Oh my god,
amazing.
Florence Pugh. I'm so glad that Florence Pugh is like
Getting
she's
placed.
out there now.
I trust that she's amazing, but her first 2 movies have just been like, I can't see Midsummer and I'm not going to see Little Women.
Why?
Because I don't like Little Women.
Yeah,
I
she
don't
hates Little
like
Women.
it.
Really?
It's
Sam
so...
hates women. You didn't know that?
Oh, yes, right. I forgot that aspect of Sam.
For context, I've read Little Women. Like, I've read the book.
See, I never have.
And
Who
it's
wrote
so
Little
boring.
Women?
Louisa May Alcott.
Okay.
That's how many times Sam has read Little.
Wow, you fucking that was
It's
in
a
the barrel.
classic. It's a classic book.
couldn't
It's
tell
like
you who
that's
wrote
like
it.
asking me who wrote The Great Gatsby. It's like it's a
Who wrote The
classic.
Great Gatsby?
It's a
Leonardo DiCaprio. Is I right?
what he said.
I actually
Right?
don't know who wrote the
F.
Gatsby.
Scott Fitzgerald.
Cool. I'm not familiar with any of his work.
He also what else did he write? Frick.
I'll look it up.
I can't remember his other. He has another
You're
famous.
talking about
book.
Little Women.
It's
Is
boring.
it Grapes? Grapes of Wrath?
Nope.
Great, cool. Now I sound like an idiot.
That's okay. One time I said that Louisa May Alcott wrote The Handmaid's Tales in the middle of English class, and my English teacher interrupted my presentation to correct me, and I was
Sorry,
like, "You couldn't
no.
have let me had that. You couldn't have let me had that one, huh?
Couldn't have
You
waited
couldn't have.
till
You
the
couldn't
end?
have silently corrected me, not in front of
You know,
everybody.
like, let me know.
You want to let me know afterwards? You
F.
couldn't have
Scott-
just docked me a grade. I would have taken that in front of being corrected in front of
Public
all of my
humiliation.
peers,
F.
in which
Scott
I was.
Fitzgerald finished 4 novels: The Side of
4?
Paradise, The Beautiful and the Damned, The Great Gatsby, and Tender is the Night.
I think it was.
I've heard of one.
I think it was This Side of Paradise, the one that I've also heard of.
A 5th unfinished novel, The Last Tycoon, was published posthumously.
Whatever. F. Scott Fitzgerald
wasn't
was
finished, so who gives a
such
shit?
an
He died at
insufferable
45.
loser.
I know he died.
Older than Snoop Dogg.
he is significantly older than Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
He was born.
I mean, not when he died, because Snoop Dogg is 48. He has since surpassed F.
Oh, I'm
Scott
sorry.
Fitzgerald
I
in
thought
life.
Snoop Dogg was 41.
F. Scott Fitzgerald was born in 1896. Holy
Yeah.
fuck.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, yeah.
He lived through both wars.
Wow. Okay, guys. The illness and death tab of F. Scott Fitzgerald's Wikipedia page reads,
Okay.
Fitzgerald, an alcoholic since college,
Whoa.
became notorious during the 1920s for his extraordinarily heavy drinking
Yeah.
which would undermine his health by late 19 and blah, 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 and he died. How much do you have to fucking drink to have it be described as extraordinarily heavy?
Yeah. You want to know the
Some
thing
frat
that
boy shit.
the thing that pisses me off about F. Scott Fitzgerald is his life. Is that his
Everything about him, actually.
The existence.
A man.
I mean, and like,
White?
granted, I guess I can't hold this much against him because we didn't know about mental health what we know now. But I think his wife had some major mental illness. It was like schizophrenia or like bipolar disorder, like very, very, very heavy bipolar disorder. It was something like that. Put her in a insane asylum. Which is
my.
the best. I mean, it was a decent insane. It wasn't like a Shutter Island insane asylum, but like,
Was she like unfortunately like
was one of the nicer
lobotomized or
ones.
something? Like,
no, she died in a fire.
Oh,
The insane
my
asylum
God.
burned down, and she burnt down with it.
hope everyone's having a nice Tuesday.
Holy shit.
She died in a fire. Yeah, the insane asylum
Lord.
she lived in burnt down, and she died with it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh,
he wrote a
Jesus.
lot of sad poetry about her.
Actually, speaking of
in
sad
his later
stories,
years.
narrative wise, Sam and I was actually fortunate enough to go out to see a musical on last Monday. We went with your aunt Sandra and your uncle
The reason
Ray.
why I'm not swearing on this podcast so
And
much,
we
or
saw it with your
trying not
mom.
to at least. Sorry,
And,
Auntie Sandra.
I had such a great night. Dinner was delicious. Your mom did such a good job.
Yeah.
And we had a fun conversation. And I love seeing your family.
Yeah.
I did not like the Color Purple musical.
No.
I've
dear.
I've come to the conclusion that I just don't think I liked it very much.
And I just want to emphasize, because The Color Purple is like a landmark in African American storytelling.
I'm sure the movie and book
I
are great.
was gonna say, I also haven't seen the Steven Spielberg directed movie starring Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
I also haven't seen, or I haven't read the book, which is what catapulted it to its fame in the first place.
Yeah.
Musical, not so great.
Musical was, in my opinion,
Great performances.
very tonally confused.
I want to be gentle about this because I'm distantly related to someone in the cast.
The singing
So-
was not the issue.
No.
The singing was awesome.
And the performances were great.
Yeah.
It's literally the story.
The way it's paced is nonsense.
Yeah.
Like it's like so for instance, you go the first act is like an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh my God.
And the last act is like half an hour.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
I'm like, why did you...
Who spaced it like this?
Maybe like story-wise. Spoilers for The Color Purple.
It came out in the... It's so old.
So basically...
I haven't seen it.
What
But I
happened
don't
is,
care.
what happened is the main character, Celie, starts off the show by giving birth to her second son that is fathered by her father.
Yeah.
So there's incest.
So, we're right off the bat, we're at
Yeah.
a really nice, happy place.
Peak
Sick.
black suffering. This story is peak black suffering, let me
Right.
tell you.
You could argue that it catapulted black suffering
Yeah.
in terms of film.
Storytelling for sure.
Yeah.
Because, I just want to say, because it's a book and a movie and a play, so I want to it's storytelling. Starts with her giving birth to her father's son, her half brother,
The second father's son.
the second child that she's given birth to by her father.
It's then ripped from her.
It's then ripped from her. Her father gives it away. She thinks that they're just like off and she'll never see them again. And then the first act ends with her finding out that her children are alive and well in Africa with her sister, where she's traveled to be a missionary.
She became a missionary.
She becomes
yeah.
a missionary.
Okay.
And travels to Africa and like serendipitously finds her, I guess, half siblings.
And I wish that I was joking, but in the second act, she picks up a phone. She goes like, oh my God, there's six. And she's talking to this other character. She goes, oh, well, Papa passed away, but he was never our real Papa. He was just brought in after our real Papa got lynched, and now he's dead and the house is ours. It's like, how is that a line?
And there's also a shop
How is that
too.
a line?
Oh yeah, and there's also a shop too that he left us, and I'm gonna put my name on it and like run the shop.
I
And
may
then-
have just 2 seconds ago got to Memphis, but I'm going back to where I came from.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck?
Okay.
Like
That should not
the
be
main
a
character,
line.
The main character gets fed up, leaves
That's
her
a scene at
hometown
best.
with her friend. I'm paraphrasing a lot.
This
Gets
is
fed
a very
up,
dense play.
Leaves her hometown with her friend who is a singer, moves in with her and her new husband in Memphis, gets a phone call, learns that her that she's inherited this real estate from her real father, who she didn't know existed until this said phone call,
Yeah.
and decides to re-up and move back to wherever in Tennessee that she
Yeah.
was beforehand.
Butt fuck nowhere.
Goes back to her hometown.
Boot Fook, Tennessee.
And opens up a pant shop and like prospers.
A pants shop.
Yeah.
That's how the fucking story
well,
ends.
it's set in like the like the early 40s or something like that, when women
I think-
wearing
yeah,
pants was relatively new.
It's true. All the women wearing pants were like, ooh,
Yeah.
pants.
Yeah, wow, pants.
But yeah, no,
Are these pants
so but
purple?
there was one that
of
was
them
purple.
was.
One of them
One
was
of
purple.
One
Yeah.
of them was. It was literally
Okay.
a rainbow. I checked. It's literally a rainbow.
So then,
Like
okay, but
red,
then
orange, yellow, green, blue,
So-
indigo,
Oh, Roy G.
violet,
Biv.
and pink. Yeah, it's a Roy G.
the
Biv
main
of pants.
character gets married off to this asshole
Okay.
who essentially, like, I apologize for the extreme language, but essentially rapes and beats her for the next 5 years.
Yeah,
basically
for almost the rest of the entire play.
at the start of Act 2, the main character like gets her gumption and like tells him to fuck off and like moves away, and then he gets like a villain song,
yeah.
and then it starts his redemption arc.
What?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want a redemption arc for this character.
Yeah.
I want this character to go in the nearest ditch and die.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
off.
What the
No, like
fuck?
for context, this character not only treated his wife awful, but he treated his own son terrible too. Because his son, so like this man that she marries like owns land. He inherited it from his dad, who bought it
His pappy.
from his slave owners
Yeah.
back when the slaves were freed.
That was the whole thing when the
And
slaves were free. They were offered
has
land.
been running the land, and he has a son, and the son clearly has no interest in like running the family business.
I just want to dance, father.
Exactly. He just wants to like
Papa.
run. He wants to run a
Papa.
juke joint, which is basically a club.
Yeah.
And like have that and marry. He's really into like he's really into strong women. The son.
Mm-hmm.
He dates these two really like strong-minded women, and his dad is like, you gotta stop hanging around with these women who are bossing you around. Be a real man and
Yeah.
hit them.
And then the main character's like, well, you just gotta beat her.
Yeah. And the,
Yeah, no, legit, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, oh
yeah,
my god.
Celie literally tells him, he's like, well, I
Beat her.
suppose she's like, I
You
suppose
gotta
this
beat
is
her,
how-
Peter.
this is how your father controls me. So like, I guess like this is all I know. You
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to hit your wife. I guess.
Trauma for-
shrug. I guess you got to hit your wife.
Shrug. Yeah, I don't know.
I guess you gotta beat her. Shrug.
Yeah,
That to me, that line, what you just said, I guess I gotta beat her, shrug, should have been the tagline for the show. I know the poster should have been her
Yeah.
being like. I
but
also
essentially, no. I'm finished my arc about the male lead or whatever. But like, no one likes this guy. His
Yeah.
son doesn't like him.
I don't
His
like
wife
him.
doesn't
yeah,
like him.
Brad doesn't like him.
Brad doesn't like him. Like, he's a piece of shit, and no one likes him. And then by the end of the show, he's like singing with everybody.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, he
yeah.
tries to repropose to Celie after she like is a successful seamstress.
The most dirtbag
After she
husband
achieves
move
success,
ever.
and then she's like, "I think we're just better off when we're friends." And I'm
we're
like,
just
"I
gonna
think you're
chill."
better off when you're nothing." He raped. He essentially raped you. I mean,
She
like,
was being far more courteous. Okay, apparently in the movie and the book, it's far more graphic.
yeah,
Their relationship.
yeah.
Well,
That's what Aunt Sandra said.
Yeah, so your Aunt Sandra mentioned this. Like, apparently, a lot of the more gruesome details of the story were glossed over.
I could tell my aunt and uncle were being very polite.
Oh,
the entire
God, yeah.
time. That's just the way they are. They're polite people.
The only thing
so-
your uncle said was like, "Well, the singing was quite good."
Yeah.
Oof. Ouch.
He kept going like, the singing was excellent, and I'm like, yeah, and I guess I kind of like the part, and he was like, the voices are amazing. The voices are so good.
You're like, so the story.
And I'm
was
like,
lacking.
I get it. You don't like this. You don't like this play. I
Well,
get
especially
it.
because like your uncle Ray and Aunt Sandra are almost like theater connoisseurs. They go to shows all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So they probably have
They go to shows like this all the time.
they probably have really solid opinions on these kinds of shows. So when they walked out of The Color Purple, and we're like,
They didn't like it.
Like, I don't know about
They
that
didn't like
one.
it.
yeah, that was pretty rough. Well, I also found I said earlier that
It was
I thought
funny. It reminded me of how you and I are when we leave a show.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to smack talk it until we're out and well away from
Oh,
the
yeah.
theater and the
Oh, yeah.
performers.
I remember one time, I won't say the name of the show, but Sam and I were walking back to the car, and we were very quiet the whole time. 'cause
Well,
we
I
were-
outright asked you. I said, "What did you think about the show when we were still in the theater?" And you were like, "Let's wait until we're in the car."
I was like, I'll talk to you. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
And we got in the car, and I turned to her and was like, Sam,
Oh no.
what was that show about? I couldn't. I had no fucking idea. Like, I don't want to give. Obviously, it's not as interesting because I don't want to give the title away. But
Right.
for the sake of those performed,
For the performers.
for the performers,
For the performance.
I will leave them alone. It's not their fault anyway. But I found I mentioned earlier that I thought The Color Purple was totally confused, the musical, because there was a lot of like upbeat soul singing, and I'm like, I get it, literally why you chose this kind of music.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't want to dance in The Color Purple. I don't want
Yeah.
to have I came here to enjoy myself, but I didn't come here to have fun. Like The Color Purple is supposed to be a moving show about like emotional distraught and like how fucking horrible the world can be. And like I'm into shit like that. I didn't expect like a musical number about Sophia and her husband fucking.
Yeah.
Like that's like a whole song about them fucking.
Yeah.
It's like it's I don't know. It was the most confused show ever.
Yeah.
But I'm happy for the performers.
Yeah.
Your distant cousin seemed very nice.
Yeah.
And she's extremely talented.
Yeah. And it was funny because like my Aunt Sandra tried to get in contact with this distant cousin of mine before she went to see the show, but she contacted the wrong performer. She contacted somebody in the play.
Chris Hansen incident.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Bringing her full circle.
Yes. But that person that she mistook for my distant cousin was very nice, and we met up with her after the show as well.
Oh, okay, great.
And like she was super nice, and
just
she
turned
was
out to be a very
also
pleasant thing.
super talented, and I really enjoyed the talent that was in that show. There's lots of great
The singing and
black
acting were great.
talent all up in that show, and it was
super good.
I hope everybody in that show goes far in their careers
And I'm sure they will.
because I enjoyed watching them. I was
The show,
I was
though.
confused by the story. I was
show
confused by
needed
the
some
story,
work.
but greatly enjoyed all of the performances.
And if you're listening to this, Mom/Cindy, I still had a great night.
yeah,
You know, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I would go again in a heartbeat.
Me too.
Yep.
Because of the people I went with.
If that was my Groundhog Day, I wouldn't be mad about
There
it.
could be worse days.
Yeah.
There could be worse days.
Absolutely.
Do you like musicals at all, Brad?
Not really, unfortunately.
You don't strike me as the type.
No, like there are a few that like I'll watch, and because a lot of musicals I see will be like musical movies.
Yeah,
Right.
that
And
makes
I'm
sense.
like, okay, I like that movie.
Did you see like La La Land or anything?
No, I didn't.
Oh, really?
Oh, interesting.
I still would like to watch it just to see.
It's right
Oh, yeah.
there.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a
It's 5
copy.
feet away from me.
Yeah.
I can see it in my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did
Um,
I guess I did leave it over there. I didn't want to burn it to the cottage, kind of fear of
Losing.
controversy.
Yeah.
Because La La Land is in my opinion, a bit of a contentious movie. I think it's great. I really do like La La Land, but there's a lot of people who fucking hate La La Land, and I just don't want. I don't want to invite that energy, you know. So I'm just
Are there a
gonna.
lot of friends of yours that don't like La La Land? Is that
I have a lot of friends who really like La La Land, and I have a handful of friends who really don't like La La Land.
Interesting.
And I think that all of the reasons they bring up are valid and fine.
You just
And
don't want to talk about it.
and that's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You're
just
sick of
leave
having
it-
the conversation.
Leave it right
Well, it's
there.
because the you know, and it's such a thing. Like, especially what would happen with the Oscars, and like, how, like Moonlight obviously deserved to win, and it did, but it almost lost to La La Land due to a mistake. And then, in my opinion, I think a lot of people use that as fuel for hatred of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, okay, put it this way: I've talked to a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
think
people.
that's a little unfair.
Exactly. I
No
think,
one from the La La Land team did that.
No, of course not. And all they
Not
tried.
even Warren Beatty did that.
What drives me crazy about La La Land is like, okay, so one of the biggest, I don't want to get into it, but because it's so annoying. I know so many people who like blindly hate La La Land, and I think that's unfair.
Yeah.
If you didn't like the movie, that's fine. I'm
I
not saying you
remember
have
watching
to.
that movie because I've seen La La Land, and I was like,
saw it together.
That was good, but like,
Visually, it's really pleasing.
I'm not like
I had
super in love with
the-
that movie. And when it got Best Picture nominated, I was like, I don't know,
You're like,
man.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I was of the mob mentality of people that didn't like it,
Right.
but I have no reason to because I haven't seen it.
Right.
But now I'm like past that. I'm like, okay, because I think what you're saying, like everyone like started bashing it because of the whole like Oscar mishap.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, this movie, and I saw Moonlight. So because I was going based on, I saw this movie, I didn't see this movie. So
Right,
I was
right.
like, yeah.
Rah, 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 totally.
Right. I don't know where I was going with that thought. I completely left. But
That's okay. It'll come back
I'm
to
willing
it.
to give it a chance now.
I think you'd like it. Like,
I think it's on
It's a very.
Netflix,
It is on Netflix. It's a very sweet movie.
Yeah.
And I think the reason
Visually
why.
stunning.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
The visuals are amazing.
Yeah.
The music's good too. But I think what I get mad about when people bash La La Land is because some of the reasons they give, in my opinion, are a little trite. It's just like,
Yeah.
you hate this movie because you hate the people in it.
Yeah.
And the reason why you hate the people in it, I personally don't think is a very good reason.
Yeah.
A lot of the people who made this movie are just people trying to make this movie.
Yeah.
They just tried to make it. And like, you're shitting on them because of like, it's a white guy who likes jazz.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I love the Ryan Gosling save jazz jokes though.
Yeah.
They
And you know
joked,
what?
didn't he host SNL a couple weeks after, and like after all the Oscars and stuff
Yeah.
had died down a little bit, and like they made, I think it's part of his opening monologue where like he and like all of the black cast members of SNL were like joking about how he like saved jazz, and and, like they all came in and they were like, actually, and he's like, no, I saved jazz.
Well, you know what though? But that response to me makes sense. I get why it would be contentious to have a white guy be the main character in this jazz musical.
John Legend is in that movie and hates jazz, and I'm like, what fucking world am I in?
Yeah, really.
John Legend's in La La Land?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he plays John Legend too. Like he's not.
He doesn't play himself. No.
Really? I thought he
Well,
did.
because it's set in like a distant time.
Is it?
Isn't it set like far away?
I thought
long
it was
ago?
like...
I didn't think it was.
I'm pretty sure it's just
not
set
like
in
a-
modern day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll find out.
If it, I may have just forgotten that part, but
It's set in
John
the Star
Legend
Wars
doesn't play
universe.
himself. John Legend doesn't play himself. He just plays like a musician.
I believe you.
But the character in the movie doesn't like jazz?
Yeah.
He
Well,
plays
that's a
a character
misuse
named
of John
Keith.
Legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Honestly.
Right?
Jesus.
Let me see here. Plot.
Like, who are you without jazz, John?
Well, there's no real there's no dates specifically.
Okay.
In the year 2016.
Yeah.
No, it's not like the future.
Yeah.
But
it's a fever dream from Ryan Gosling's character in Blade
exactly having a full blown acid trip while he's
Yeah.
playing the piano.
Yeah.
And I get why people, but I think the response to that should just be like, you know, like if the movie was terrible and he went on to be like, if that character went on to be like, whites for jazz, like
Yeah.
then I totally
No,
get it.
he was just a jazz enthusiast.
He just liked jazz.
He was just a guy who
White
liked
people
jazz.
like jazz.
That was all I ever got from that movie. Other people blew it up into like.
Thank you for agreeing with me, because fuck.
You like jazz?
Hey, so you like
You
jazz?
like jazz?
Do you like jazz, kiddo?
Ryan Gosling does.
Oh, he saved jazz.
Oh, right. Hey, way to go, Ryan.
You know what? I'll say it. Ryan Gosling is the greatest jazz artist of our time. I'll say it. I don't think that.
Because I noticed how none of us said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when that didn't get laughs, I'm like, well, I guess I'll be cutting that bit out.
Like, right, that is no.
Podcast's officially 2 minutes shorter.
Yeesh.
Cameron, we gotta talk.
Pulling the Carter.
But yeah. Yeah. No. La La Land is just fine. Best Picture nominated? I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But
I think that.
know lots of
I think
people.
that about Marriage Story.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you saw Marriage. Tell us about
But
Marriage
you've
Story.
seen Marriage Story.
Because I described it to you and Sydney. Sorry. And I feel like it's. I don't want to be like offensive to you guys who have been in theater because it's not even actually more a theater thing. It's remember on Twitter when like
Yeah.
that scene came
Yeah.
out and everyone was making fun of it.
Shouty
It's like-
scenes,
right?
yeah.
Where it just seemed like it was like a really bad like.
A really bad
acting-
scene
A
study
scene
in an
study,
acting
yeah.
Yeah,
class.
it's a scene
Yeah.
story, basically. The whole movie seems like that.
Okay.
The way it's acted, not just that scene alone, the whole thing just seems like, well, this seems like one big, like, study. Right. Exactly what you're saying. I was just like, okay.
So do you think then you would you, I'm curious what your opinion. Do you think that the movie largely lends on the performances of Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson? Like, do you think that's more what it's about than the narrative?
I think so.
Okay.
And there's a lot of, like, great performances in there. Like, Laura Dern is in it.
Oh,
And
no way.
yeah,
I didn't know
Laura
that.
Dern. And I think,
Isn't she nominated for Best Supporting
I
Actress
think
for that
she is,
movie?
Yes.
Cool.
I think she is.
That's cool.
Who else is in it? What the fuck?
Here, I'll look it up. You can.
We got Scarlett Johansson, Adam Driver, Laura Dern. Does Adam Driver talk to anybody in this
Adam
movie?
Driver.
Adam Driver.
Zaddy
Zadam
Driver.
Does Adam Driver?
Ray Liotta.
That's it. Ray Liotta is very little in it.
Okay.
He plays Adam Driver's lawyer.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess divorce lawyer.
Liotta lawyer.
Liotta lawyer. I want Ray Liotta to be my lawyer.
It's like a spin-off of Lincoln Lawyer. Liotta lawyer.
You ever seen Lincoln Lawyer?
I'd
No.
love to lick
I've
a
seen Lincoln
Liotta
Lawyer.
lawyer.
If it's a
and
Matthew
Lily
McConaughey
Hammer.
movie, I won't watch it.
No. Are you of the of you're not on the camp? You're not in the fun.
I don't like Matthew McConaughey.
Why don't you like Matthew McConaughey?
I just think he's so obnoxious.
You just think he talks like this all
That's
the time.
all the time.
I think in recent years,
I'll give Interstellar
this
a
is
shot.
completely baseless. This is so baseless. This is just me being an asshat. But like, I think in recent years, McConaughey has like played up his accent.
Oh, absolutely.
Even more.
Oh.
And it makes me so mad.
And like women are so attracted to Matthew McConaughey,
It's
and I'm
so-
like, the man's a rat.
It's like
He does kind of
if
look
I
like a
did
drowned
wind up on a
rat.
date with Matthew McConaughey, I'd be like, "Can you finish a sentence quicker, please?"
Hey,
Like-
hey Sam, it's kind of like.
Yeah.
Come on, spit it
Hey
out,
there.
spit it out, baby.
A waiter comes over. It's like, "Can I get you guys anything to drink?" And Matthew's like,
We'll take 2 iced teas, thank you.
"Oh, I wanted some water, actually."
I don't care.
I want a water, but I want you to drive it over in a link.
You're like, sir,
Not
we have
because
water
anybody
right here.
told me to.
Yeah.
Because I liked it. It's like,
Oh my
hurry
god.
the fuck up.
I
Sorry,
like-
Auntie Sandra.
I like iced tea.
Yeah, iced tea. Do I turn
Nah.
left here, Matthew? All right. All right.
I think he just recently joined Twitter, is what I saw.
Really?
Yeah. And
The fuck is he tweeting about?
I don't fucking know.
The fuck is Matthew? Matthew McConaughey doesn't have a single
I'm not
tweet in his brain.
following him.
Yeah. What's he tweeting
Not a
about?
single tweet in his brain.
Woke up this morning. It's pretty nice, I guess. You ever looked up and wondered what the clouds were doing?
We're almost at the end of our time here. I just want to talk about this thing that we haven't addressed yet. Brad,
Yes.
who are you?
Who am I?
Why would we have brought you here?
Oh, your typical white guy.
Yeah.
You just needed another.
No, who
white-
are you to us?
Who am I to you?
Yeah.
Oh, I forget. No, I'm just kidding. I'm Sam. It's very late in the podcast to do this.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
It's
yeah.
fine.
I have been.
We
a
can
friend,
go over it. It's not
I've
a big
been a friend
deal.
of Sam since grade 9.
I would argue 10. Well,
Ooh.
10
'cause
is when we
we
really
had-
started
So that
making
Yeah,
means
grade
that
9
he
drama
liked
class.
you more in grade 9 than you liked him in grade 9.
Does that happen? No, just because we had a class in grade 9.
No, I'm
But yes,
yeah.
granted,
Did we?
grade 9 drama.
Oops, yeah, you're right.
Oops.
I forgot.
But yeah. Talk about your guys'
forgot.
relationship. We got lots of time.
I didn't forget grade 9 drama, but I forgot that you were in that class.
That's fair because I didn't do shit.
No, I remember, like, our teacher, Ms. Adams, had,
Oh, fuck, I didn't remember
had,
her
us,
name.
had us do this assignment where, like, we had to be, like, someone who was trapped in a box. And I thought that you gave a really shitty performance, and
yeah.
I didn't like it.
The only reason I joined drama in grade 9.
So mean.
The only reason I joined drama in grade 9 was because throughout my entire childhood, I still like I loved movies as a kid.
Yeah.
And I just loved like celebrities, blah
Yeah.
blah blah, and that's why I like pop culture now.
Yeah.
But like as a child, I was like, I want to be an actor.
Right.
No way.
Yeah.
Dude, you can still do it.
Then I took
not too
drama.
late.
No, I took drama and went, oh, Brad's got stage fright.
Oh, no.
way.
Brad doesn't like being all eyes on him sometimes.
But you can. That's something you can work on getting over.
But I don't want to because
Okay.
I realize that I don't want to do that.
Right. That's fair. That's
That's
fair.
a fair realization.
Hey, man.
No, but you gave this like performance where like you were like a person stuck in a box, and everybody did something. They smashed through the box. They
I
like
couldn't
they
even tell
they
you what I
got
did. I don't
frustrated.
even
Lay
remember.
down
You
and
killed
died.
yourself is what you did. You shot yourself in the head.
Oh my god, I did!
And I was like, what a weak pussy cop out solution to this problem.
How is that your response?
How did you get a gun in this box? First of all, second of all, that's so lame. You
I'm
killed
also
yourself.
like 12, so
in grade
You were,
9?
like,
you
14
would have been
in grade 9.
13
I know,
or
I'm
14.
just saying.
Yeah.
I'm a
Brad's
child, I don't
special.
fucking know.
He skips some grades.
But I was like,
I was a dumb child.
I was like, that is the obvious answer to this like exercise that we are all avoiding because we're trying to be creative,
And I did
you
it.
just like pussied out and shot
that
yourself in
sounds
the
like
head.
me.
You know what they say?
And I
If I
was
can
like,
pussy your way
wow.
out of it, I'll do.
What a dumb answer.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Brad Sherk. If I can pussy my way out, I'm gonna
I'm
do
going-
it. Brad
I will
Sherk
do it.
2020.
That was
I
my
will
yearbook
do it.
quote. It was not.
Wasn't your yearbook quote like some Doctor Who thing? It was like
wasn't
fish
Doctor
sticks and
Who.
custard.
No, it was not a Doctor Who.
Oh, what was it?
It was a live, love, a live quote.
Oh
Mitchell Davis quote.
my god.
Yes.
Who's that?
YouTuber.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey Sam, do you think any of our quotes will ever be on some kid's yearbook quote?
That'd be great if it was.
Do you think like oh, I don't know. Like, I truly regret this, comma, really. That's a Sam Mercury quote. From our Pokemon Mystery
yeah.
Dungeon video, go watch it.
Yeah.
But
no,
go on.
but yeah.
From grade 9.
You were my friend starting
Yeah.
in grade 9. We dated in grade 10.
Correct.
I broke up with you.
Yes.
You started dating my friend. Didn't talk to you for like 4 years.
Did not like me for a good chunk of that
Hated
time.
it.
Now, do you
Hated
think, to be honest, I'm not trying to,
No, go ahead.
do you think that your hatred of Brad after him starting dating your best friend was rooted in, like, an immaturity thing?
I guess. I mean, like, I was just sort of under the... Well, first of all, you and this friend, who will remain nameless just because we're not talking about her in, like, a light that I think that you would appreciate, the way that you dated was very high school. Like, you were attached at the hip. Yep. So, me and my other, like, friends, my non-men friends would be like, hey, we're going to have a non-dude night. Nobody bring your boyfriends. Right. Not a problem for me. I did not have one.
You're like, okay, sign me.
But like, and then like bring you, and we meet up, and you were there.
Did you just say her name?
Talked about it. Sorry.
No, I'll bleep it out.
Okay, I'll stop saying.
Stop saying it.
And like we were like, okay, cool, no dudes, and then we would show up,
and then there's Brad,
and you were there, and we were like, what the?
Do you guys like my bowl cut?
I hate you. Wow.
Hey! Hey, buddy, fuck you!
Please continue.
Yeah. It's not a bowl cut.
It wasn't a bowl cut.
It was a Bieber cut.
It's not any better, but it was a Bieber cut.
I had one too, dude. Everybody had one.
It was a masterful Bieber cut, might I add. It was one of the better Bieber cuts.
I had it before him.
You did. You really did. You did.
rocked that shit, buddy.
No.
Grade 9 was pre-Bieber.
Bring it back, buddy. I'm
which
telling
is
you.
so Grade 9 was pre-Bieber, which is so weird.
Yep. A world pre-Bieber.
A world pre-Bieber. It was a peaceful world.
Yeah. It's like pre-9/11.
So it was a world where yummy was just a word.
Just
yummy,
a word to describe good food.
Shut up.
But yeah, no, didn't like you, because you just kept popping up. Like we'd be like, "Hey, Brad, don't show up to this," and you'd be like, "Show up to this," and I'd be like, "Brad, don't show up to this."
Brad's there.
I'm here. Be like, I'm here, and I'd be like, "Great, I hate this.
Like,
Thank
cool.
you." And then, like, I don't know, enough time just passed.
There was no time in the like breakup of that we had to be like, okay, there's no Brad.
Yeah,
because it was just like,
Brad.
So did you guys have like a messy breakup?
No.
Again, very high school.
Yeah.
Was it kind of just like, this isn't working out?
Yep.
No, I remember because like I tried to break up with you before class, and you were like, "No,
What?
I don't want to." And then I was like, "Okay, fine," because I was a pushover in high school.
Can we break over at lunch?
And
break up at lunch, please?
And then you messaged me on MSN.
Ooh.
And you were like,
Ooh.
"I'm sorry that I tried to make you stay with me. I realize now that I can't make anybody stay with me if I don't want them to." And
shit, Brad.
like,
what an incredibly mature thing to do.
This.
Which
yeah.
yikes.
I'm okay with ending this, and I was like, "Thank you," because this is insufferable, and I don't want to do this anymore.
That happens.
Thank you, because if I had to spend another minute dating your stupid white ass,
Goddamn explode.
Because I thought about it, and I really I'm confident I don't want to be with you anymore, and I still am.
I should hope so, because we started this podcast with me and Sam were at 4 years.
Yeah. What a weird way to start what is essentially our 4-year anniversary podcast with my ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
But now we're like great friends, so.
Well,
well, it's
you guys
funny.
Have been
it's
far
funny
better
because
friends.
you and this friend broke up after being together for a while, and
I was actually in the picture with you at that point, wasn't I?
No, not when Brad and this person broke up.
Wasn't that?
It was long after. It was long after.
Well, I don't think it was long after though. I feel like. Nope. You know what? I'm bogging things down. Please continue.
You're new here.
No, you and this person had long been broken up, but that person then went on to date somebody that our friend group didn't like, and we really bonded over that then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he sucks.
Yes.
And I will go on the air as saying that. And
that's on the record? You want that on the record?
I'm not saying names.
Yeah.
It's just,
but it's
I don't
okay
like him.
Because she
I don't
also
like him.
knows
and she
that
agrees.
He sucks.
She agrees. And he doesn't listen to my freaking podcast. So, like...
Yeah.
So,
very chill. We're very chill here.
Very chill. We're all very chill. It's a chill spot. We're all chill. It's fine.
Into the
chill.
nose.
We're good. It's chill.
Out
It's
through
fine.
your butt.
But yeah, now we're best buds. Now we're best buds.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're my friend.
Do you
I
guys
high five you, but you're too far.
Woo!
So me and Brad, my Brad was on the podcast. We told some
It's your
stories.
Brad, is it?
Oh, good for you.
You're fucking Brad.
We told some choice stories, some of our best team up stories Brad and I had.
Yeah.
Do you have anything like that? Any like adventures you guys
I don't
went
have
on?
anything that beats the cake at the party story.
Getting too stoned and eating a whole cake.
Yeah, like a full sheet cake.
Well, but that doesn't have to beat it.
Wait,
I'm
sorry,
just.
did you did that or Brad
I did that.
Brad and Cam did that.
Did you not listen to the episode?
I forget.
Well, actually, you know what? You might not have heard that because that was an episode where that story's audio got really fucked up. So, long story short, go listen to episode 11 of the podcast.
Okay, well, right now.
Long story short, Brad and I went to a high school party where like we were not pot smokers at the time, but our friends there were like super heavy pot smokers, and then they smoked us out, and we got fucking
Blitz.
high,
Yeah.
dude, like real high. And then as soon as we walked out, we're like, oh, whoa. And then like the party host comes down and slaps down 2 big cakes. And me and Brad looked at each other because we were gonna leave to go to another party at the time. And we looked at each other and was like, that cake right there. We took 2 plastic forks and ate 1 whole cake.
One.
And bounced because there was 2 cakes. So we ate.
But the 2 of you ate one.
We demolished a cake. Yeah, we demolished a sheet cake. A homemade sheet
Yeah.
cake. A rainbow cake, actually.
That's fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so what did you guys get up to in high school?
Well, I didn't talk to him for the majority of
It
it
was a
because
good
we
chunk of
dated in
time.
grade 10, broke up in grade 10, then he dated our friend for the rest of high
From,
school.
like,
Okay.
And I
grade
spent the
onward,
rest
yeah.
of the time hating him. I
Right.
remember one time though, because like, and like we mentioned this in one of our Let's Plays, but towards in grade 12, we started a habit of eating lunch in our writer's craft teacher's room.
Oh
like our
yeah,
classroom.
the Laughing Club.
The Laughing Club. And Brad was there for that. And for the most part, I could usually get away with ignoring him.
I thought that we were okay by that point.
Nope.
This is.
I think we were
You
okay.
thought you were okay.
Though. It was my
She
perspective.
was.
You know what happened?
She
She's
was
here.
never okay.
I think I reconciled with you during that year.
That might have been it.
Either then or after I left for university.
Well, could I ask you then, from your perspective,
Mm-hmm.
what was the turning point? Could you pinpoint a moment where you thought maybe
See,
this
is why
guy's
I
not
think
so
it was,
bad?
This is why I think it was after high school, because high school ended and I think it was just like enough time had passed.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you've dated my friend for like 3 years at this point now.
Well, because I remember it was like, because you guys all
I
graduated.
messaged you on Tumblr, I think
Yeah,
is what I
you
did.
guys all graduated before I did.
Send each
Yeah.
other
I
gifts on
even
Tumblr.
I even came to your graduation.
Yeah.
And then even after mine, I then came to hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
So it was like clearly, I think what you're right. It, like whatever,
Enough time had just
whatever
passed.
Beef yeah.
And like the
passed.
reason
Well, you guys dated for
my-
a week, didn't you?
No, we dated for like 4 months.
It was.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I was like annoyed is just like, hey,
Because I'm annoying.
I broke up. No,
Oh!
Oh!
I broke up with this guy because I don't want to friggin' see him anymore.
And I'm constantly there.
And you weaseled your way into my best friend's
I don't think I did
life.
that on purpose, though.
And like now,
mean, I
no,
doubt it.
because she asked you out. Okay, so this is a messed up thing. Is that I initially bleep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
More work for me.
She technically asked me if it was okay to date Brad because this was like a month. She asked me like a month after I broke up with Brad.
And you
Which is
said-
like.
But she asked me at that first party where I got super drunk for the very first time in
Is
my
that the
life.
Mike's Hard story?
The what? Yes.
What was it? You got licked off Mike's Hard lemonades?
It wasn't Mike's Hard. It was Blue Vex. And
Ooh.
like
the
several.
other choice drink
several-
of every high school girl.
Listen. It was a combination of Mike's Hard
I don't
of
think you never,
Vex
you never told the
and
story on the air.
multiple Jello shots.
You should
multiple
elaborate on
Jell-O
that story. I
shots.
don't think you've ever told the audience.
Wow. So, like, giving you all the context, let me tell you how this night went. So,
Yeah, include the your friend stuff, I guess.
So-
Context of that.
my grandpa died, and
Oh.
then they had a memorial for
Great
him.
start to a story.
They had a memorial for him, but on the same night as the memorial, my friend was having a party at her house, and to this day the only high school party with drinking that I've ever been to. So go to the memorial, R.I.P. Grandpa, go to the party.
Let's get
I
lit.
did not know this part of this.
because you
story.
weren't at this party.
Oh, that would be why I didn't know. Oops.
So I showed up to the party late, and our friend Emily, whose name we can say, was like, catch up. Now, if you have ever been to a party, you know that catch up is the worst thing to say to somebody when it comes to alcohol.
Yeah.
Because you're
Also to
supposed to
Conrad,
consume
though.
it slowly over time, and
Yeah,
you're
Conrad
not
deserves
supposed to.
it.
You're not supposed to drink it boom, 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 one after the other, after the other, after the other. So I get there late, and my friends had already had like 7 Jello shots between all of them.
Wow, it's a lot of Jello shots.
And so they were like, catch up. So I did like 5 Jello shots in a row. And these are like classic Jello shots. We're talking vodka and Jello.
So they don't even taste good.
Smirnoff and Jello.
Ew.
It was disgusting.
there any
And like
other
it was
kind
like
of Jell-O
lemon and
shot?
lime Jello
Why
too.
would
It
you
wasn't
not
even the good
use a
Jellos.
fruity alcohol in a Jello shot?
Because we're high schoolers and we're
Dumb.
hardcore like
That's
that.
true.
Just
It's
dumb.
Blue Vex or vodka. There's no in between.
Fucking hand sanitizer.
So down 5 shots of like down 5 Jello shots,
Mm-hmm.
and then had a Blue Vex. Feeling myself.
Vibing.
Vibing hard.
Mm.
And in the middle of my drunken stupor, is getting sort of quiet. I said her name again. I'm sorry.
No, this is great.
She's like, "Can I tell you something?" And I'm like, what is it?
Nice.
And she goes,
something.
she goes, "I like Brad. Can I ask him out?" And I was like, oh my God, of course. I am so done with him. I'm so done with
you're
him.
telling me
It's
that
not
when
even a
you're-
problem.
That teenage drunk Sam is Lola from Big Mouth?
Yeah, literally.
I'm like so done with Brad. I'm like really over him.
I'm like so fucking over him.
Oh my God, Brad, he's a dump truck.
Yeah. So, Sam, in
Brad's a
short,
bitch.
you played yourself.
I did.
Yeah.
She asked me when I was drunk. I'm sorry. She asked me when I was drunk if she could ask my ex-boyfriend out, and I'm like, oh my God, of course, because I'm drunk.
And your mentality is, you're like, he's my ex, it's okay.
Yeah.
We only didn't kiss once
Yeah.
in 4 months.
I can go more into detail. I don't want to stray too far from the story, so I'm not
relax.
gonna talk about all that happened on that night. It was very eventful,
I
but
kind of want to hear it.
like, sorry. You know what? Just don't bleep it out. Just don't bleep it out. Fuck it.
Are you
Fuck it.
sure?
I love now. It was a problem
It's
then.
an at the time thing.
And she's not like that anymore. You hear this? I love you. I tell these stories with no ill will. Like,
It's a time. It's at
it was
the
a time in
thing.
our lives, and it's done. It's very done. I keep hitting the mic and things related to the mic,
Have
and
you
I'm
not
sorry.
learned?
I haven't. I have yet to learn. So, messaged you, Brad, over MSN, and was like, "Hey, I like you." And
She asked me in person.
Classic.
listen, she asked you in person later,
Oh,
but
fuck.
you gave kind of an iffy answer over MSN that night.
That sounds about right.
And I think you actually said, "Can we talk about this in
scans.
person?"
That sounds like Brad.
I think
sounds like high school.
you said later, "Can we talk about this in person?"
Sick.
And then like you didn't really give her an answer that night. But I remember her asking you out over MSN Messenger. I remember being drunk and stumbling past our friend's room, and her computer was in that room,
Typing away.
and like typing a message out to you.
Gross.
And we were like, "Oh, like Brad's probably gonna date." And then I came to my senses like at school the next
You sobered the fuck
Sober.
up.
on like
literally sobered
at
up.
school on Monday after I had sobered up, and Emily told me that you had told that you liked her back, and like pit in the sink of my stomach, and that's when I started hating you because I was like, great. I literally never wanted to see this guy anymore. Now I'm gonna see him
Now-
10 times more than I
Right.
ever
Well,
wanted to.
I actually kudos to you, Sam. I love how you didn't aim your ire at at all. It's like 100%. This fucker should
it
have
was
just said
mostly
no.
Brad. I mean, like we were kind of pissed because like sometimes and like our friends at the time didn't like Brad that much either. I wasn't alone. in
God.
this.
No, but that's, honestly, it doesn't hurt me now. Almost everyone I know starts off being like, well, okay, like they're iffy on me, and then they're like, okay. Everyone.
Brad, I'll have you know, I liked you from the moment I met you.
He did.
Shut
he
up, no, you didn't.
No, I fucking did.
Brad, I
know.
shit.
I have
shit you
always
not.
liked
He really
you.
Did.
My best
He
friend
really did.
Andrew started off that way. He was like, because I worked with Andrew,
Right.
Yeah.
and he at first was like, I mean, okay, and it wasn't until I got fired that Andrew and I started becoming friends. Because
Where did you guys work together? I could bleep it out if you don't want it to be.
Oh, it's fine. I don't work there. We worked at Valley Village.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you meant home, because you're still home hardware, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I sorry, I got my timelines confused.
And he likes it, and it's fine. And it's fine to say
I've
it out
known, I've
loud.
known Andrew for like 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, at the time, like a lot of our friends didn't like Brad, so I wasn't alone in this.
Right.
So like he
It's
would
amazing
show
how
up to
candid
stuff.
you guys can be about
He
this.
would show up to stuff, and we would all be like, "She fucking brought Brad.
Fuck.
Like, can she for one day not bring Brad?" And then we were like, and then somebody made me realize they were like, "Sam, like he's just as attached to the hip as she is attached to his. Like it's both of them. They're
my
both
God.
like
Yeah.
these annoying little codependents."
I'm glad you guys. I mean, it's worth saying that everyone that Sam is talking about is still your friends.
Yeah.
You guys are
True.
still close
It's
and
high
inseparable.
school crap. It's high
It's
school
literally-
garbage
yeah, it's-
drama crap.
It's
like
high
it's
school
just
drama.
it's over now.
Well, it's-
you know?
it's-
doesn't
yeah.
matter anymore.
It's interesting.
Yeah, but we don't have there's not like any event because I like Brad and I don't have any high school stories because I spent like
A
3/4
good
of high
chunk of
school
it.
hating him.
Right.
So
Well, okay, fine. Aside from forget the timeline.
I think there was
then.
one time where like you had like something from your lunch fell out of your bag and under my foot and you were like, "Can you pick that up for me?" And I like picked it up and like handed it. You were sitting behind me, like literally behind me, and I handed it to you with
Didn't
my
look at me.
arm and like didn't look at you the whole time
You
and just
are
like looked right through you.
the most petty individual.
This is like 2 years after they had already been dating. Like I should have been over it, but I
Well, I love how
it was like at this point when
This
I
is
when I
peak Little
did that,
Sam.
it was very obvious that like you and this person were in it to win it and like weren't gonna break up anytime soon.
That to me,
And I just, like, couldn't get over
that
it.
kind of moment would be like grounds for you to Brad to be like,
Maybe I should back the fuck off.
no, for you to be like, what the fuck is your problem?
Oh, no. Here's the thing that you don't understand about high school, Brad.
Okay.
The most
Little Brad.
oblivious person
No
to
way.
ever walk the earth.
That scans.
On
No
all
offense.
accounts.
Yeah.
On every single account.
I was pretty oblivious in
I
high
could
school
throw
too.
so much shade and he had no idea.
Yep.
So to you, she was just handing you your banana. Is
Yes.
that my dog just now?
Yes.
It's fine. It probably won't get picked up.
Sure, yeah. It's just like, okay.
Had no idea.
That's really funny.
Knowing
Yeah.
me, she probably did that whole fact, and I was like, oh, thanks.
Oh, thanks, Sam.
Thanks for being my element of my lunch.
I didn't want to pick it up anyway, so that's really nice of you to do that.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Forget timelines. Do you guys have a particular night as friends, adventure you guys have had? No.
Well, we didn't. I don't want to say we did nothing, but we didn't like do a lot.
We didn't get up to stuff.
No.
Like we were pretty good kids.
Well, I don't even mean like crime or like something high stakes.
Oh, if we're talking about crime.
Yeah, well, I've done lots of those.
Oh, we robbed so many
banks.
banks.
But no, but you guys like, oh my god, my dog is really barking.
Yeah, I think the delivery guy is here.
I think Dad went to go get it. He's probably pulling up. That's why.
Yeah. And like, I'm sorry. Like, we don't have a lot of like
It's
stories.
okay.
First. We have
Okay,
like, we have
sorry.
like,
No,
we
don't
have like
apologize.
inside jokes and like fun little like things that we've like done together. We used
From
to
over the years,
We
yeah.
went to like the same Tim Hortons with our friend groups a lot of the
And
time.
Almost every day.
That's what I'm getting
We
at.
had a
Like
Tim's,
stuff like
we had
that.
a Tim's that we regulated. Like that was our cheers. We like went there
Yeah,
all
that
the
was your
time.
cheers.
Yeah.
They literally almost knew our names. So
Yeah.
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 Well, I think they know Emily.
They certainly knew that I liked extra whipped cream on my ice
Tim
cream,
Hortons,
so-
where some people know your name.
Some of the workers know who
Yeah.
you are.
Attacked by meth heads on the daily.
You laugh, but that Tim Hortons went from being 24 hours to have to ask for a key to the bathroom because too many people have done meth in the
To
bathroom
closed at midnight.
to closed at midnight because
Like, listen,
holy crap,
It
is scary.
I've
here
been to this
after
Tim
dark.
Hortons
Yeah.
that you guys talked about. Like,
Yeah.
I've done a couple Tim Hortons hangs with you guys.
Yeah.
Not nearly as much as the two of you have, of course.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not trying to sound like a fucking asshole or anything, but like, we rolled up to this Tim Hortons, and I was like, "This Tim Hortons?"
Oh yeah, it's, even
man.
the area is very.
It's a little
very
like there was a
sketchy.
bunch of like really scary giant white men like smoking cigarettes and had like scars down the sides of their
Yeah,
faces. Like
yeah.
one was like on a peg leg. I was like,
No one was on a peg leg, you drama queen.
they all had big cutlasses and eye patches.
My favorite thing about that Tim
I
Hortons.
think you were on Treasure Island.
Yeah,
My
I was
favorite-
fucked up that
my
night. Who
favorite
knows?
thing about that Tim Hortons is the regular customers who drive a giant van with a big old stuffed tiger,
Yep.
like a life-size
Yep.
stuffed tiger strapped to the roof of it
All the time.
all the time.
All the time.
I've seen it in the winter. I have seen it in rainstorms.
summer. Yep.
I have seen it in the summertime.
Amazing.
That thing is
Disgusting.
disgustingly full of scum and mold. on the
Mold
inside.
and just
Why?
like
Well, why would they
everything.
get? It probably
And it's like
looks
when I
horrible.
say strapped to the roof, I literally mean like I can see the bungee cords that
Yes.
are wrapped around the roof.
Cameron,
like,
would you like to
tying it
know
down.
why?
Yeah.
Because fucking
Kitchener.
Kitchener.
Hashtag fucking Kitchener. I feel like this is a good
You
time.
two can write a book.
I feel like this is a good time because I have a fellow Kitchenerite here to. What time are we at?
We're fine.
Okay. I feel like this is a good time to bring up hashtag fucking Kitchener because I use it on Twitter sometimes and rarely on Instagram. I think I used it once to talk about fucking Kitchener stories
yeah.
that I told
If you,
on this
if you don't
podcast.
follow Sam on Twitter, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just fucking do it.
At Sam Planet with 2 T's.
It's in the description of every video.
Yeah.
there you go.
But fucking Kitchener is a hashtag that our friend group, me and you, Brad, uses to describe the random happenings,
The ongoings.
the ongoings of our town that we live in. I think the one that started it all was when Haley and Emily, and we can say these names, Haley and Emily found a naked tape of 8 Mile strapped to a lamppost
Yep.
that someone had like tied to it.
Yep.
There was the mac and cheese incident of like.
Hang on, what's the mac and cheese incident?
The
I don't
You
know.
know about the
great
plate of mac and cheese that somebody
accident.
left
Oh, yeah,
in
well,
front
that's
of City
recent.
Hall.
Yeah, that's recent. Sorry, yeah.
Someone left a plate of mac and cheese out, and then when someone cleaned it up, everyone was like, "Who took the mac and cheese plate
It's
from
an
City
art
Hall?
piece.
Who took it? Why did someone take it?" And then people started leaving like boxes of uncooked macaroni.
You have a picture of
I have the
8 Mile?
picture because I found the picture and I got someone to send it to me.
Could you please send that to me?
I absolutely
so
will.
I can put it up in the video for the podcast?
Yes, I
Yeah.
absolutely can.
Here's the picture that they're talking about.
Yeah.
Please elaborate on this tape.
So not much to it. One time Emily and Haley were walking home from school one day and found this tape. Taped to a pole. It's wrapped in a plastic bag, but you can see through it if you zoom in. It says 8 Mile
It
on
absolutely
it.
says 8 Mile. Yeah.
And
Should have taken it home and watched it. It's probably like The Ring.
it's probably that was
Germs
probably
were
the ring
on
tape.
that thing.
yeah.
It's probably the ring tape. But we were like, who did
Could you
this?
fucking imagine if the tape
did
out of The Ring was 8 Mile? like they found the tape and they're like, oh, I love this movie. Eminem is so good in this.
My arms
Yeah.
are sweaty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knees weak.
But yeah, and then Kitchener's trash and like
Yep.
so random, weird, and kooky.
When you click on the hashtag fucking Kitchener hashtag, is it just all your
It's
tweets?
essentially all her. There's might be I think a few Sydneys
Actually,
there. Maybe
yeah.
Emily.
So you heard it here
Yeah.
first, folks. Let's get that tag rolling.
Yeah,
Number one
absolutely.
trending tag, fucking Kitchener.
Kitchener has you may have talked about this person
Okay,
on the
okay.
podcast. We have a local. Do we want to call her celebrity?
What are you talking about?
Hunchback.
Oh yeah.
The Hunchback of Kitchener
yeah.
Dame.
Yes. It's a lady. Am I allowed to talk about her? Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a lady that goes around Kitchener and she essentially she's a liar.
Okay.
Yeah.
She-
I know who you're talking
Yes.
about.
I feel like you've probably encountered
She
her.
approached me.
Yes. And what
Did
did you tell her?
Well, I gave her a little bit of change.
You unfortunate
You liar.
soul.
You
I don't
poor
know.
sap.
I hate to inform you,
You poor
that
sap.
lady has the best vehicle.
Like a Bentley.
Well, no, she has like a truck of some sort.
Well, what happened is that she blocked my car. I couldn't move.
yeah, that sounds right.
she wouldn't like get the fuck out of the way.
Yep. So
She was like, "Oh, I'm so
she pretends that she goes around town and pretends that she needs a ride to somewhere.
Yeah.
Needs money for her daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Which, by the way, her daughter is fine.
everything is fine.
Did I tell you about the time my mom and I drove her home?
No.
So this was back when I worked at the frozen yogurt place in
Yep.
Uptown Waterloo, whose name we don't say, by the way.
Yep.
But
Oh, you mean
shut up.
Menchie's? Cold Stone?
So like, my mom was picking me up from work one night, and she was out in the parking lot, and she was looking especially distressed. Like normally she has sort of like a wandering look in her eye, but she was looking like stressed out about something. So we were like, "Are you okay? Where do you need to go?" She was like, "I have no way home tonight." And mom
The
was
typical
like
excuse.
mom was trying to leave her there, and I was like, just fucking
Mom tried to leave her?
just drive her home.
Good job, Cindy.
Just take her home, Mom. So she gets in the car. She lives in an apartment. You know what? I'm not gonna say the street.
No.
Here's her address. It's
But,
up
like,
on screen.
She lives in an apartment, like an established apartment building.
I was gonna say I
it's
doubt
like
that she lives there though.
it's well, no. You know what? You know why I think she does actually live there, because as we pulled up, there was a car in the driveway of the apartment complex. And she was like, "That's my daughter." And she walked up to the car and like started talking to the person in the car. And it was a decent car. Like it wasn't a Bentley, but like
No, I'm not saying she had a Bentley. But
it was like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
So like her daughter is fine. Her daughter, if anything, is like independent and lives
She's
by
fine,
herself
too.
and doesn't live with her, while she lives in an apartment.
She's fine
like
as
a
well.
nice apartment.
She doesn't have the crick in
Yeah,
her
no,
back.
people have straight up seen her
People
like
have seen
stand
her
up straight
got-
and walk
yes,
away.
Yes, they've seen her get out of her car.
Yeah.
It was a nice car.
Yeah.
And just go right angle.
Yeah.
And just walk.
She also conned my mom and I for change when she left. She was like,
I believe that.
we were like, "Okay, here, you're home," and she's like, can you guys spare some change since it's been a hard night and it's really hard for me to ask?" And I was like,
Did it seem so hard just now?
and I was like, "Yeah, lady, whatever. Like, here you go. Here's some toonies or whatever." Like, we
Yeah,
just gave her
so-
some money and got out.
con
but, like,
artists.
Right.
Yeah, no, a proper con artist.
My girlfriend has had encounters with her. There was one where
She's still around trying to,
We've seen like what are we?
because she disappeared
January?
for a while.
We saw her probably last month.
Wow.
No way.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Outside the Cineplex theater.
How has she not been like
Unfairly.
fucking
Wow.
arrested or something?
I don't fucking know. I don't know.
That's fucked, man.
Still around, still doing it.
My favorite fucking Kitchener tweet
Unbelievable.
has to be the one where Emily tweeted out about this blanket and then a can of beans, 2 cans of beans that you guys just found.
Yeah.
Apparently, there was here it is. There's
On a school
cauliflower on the
playground.
ground as
On
well.
a school playground.
Just a bunch of raw. How do these things get here?
Kitchener.
Kitchener.
That's it.
That is how you summon.
It's like a vortex of.
That's how you summon Kitchener.
That's how you summon the hunchback.
You assemble a bunch of like crappy random objects.
Yeah.
And just put it in a circle.
You need
and
a
someone
worn
from Kitchener
blanket.
will show up and like ask you if you want to go to a Rangers game. in our in our auditorium that hasn't been updated into the 21st century yet. You know?
and you'll like get crushed by a falling light or something.
Not quite so bad,
No.
but like
It's updated to that point. But.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, horrible acoustics, like trash acoustics, awful.
And
awful.
any more final comments on the city where you guys live?
As shitty as it is, I wish yuppies from Toronto would stop moving there, making it more expensive. Brad and I saw some yutz in
Go
a
on.
condo on the corner of King Victoria with his pants off, in his boxer briefs.
In his home.
Yeah, but like with the lights on at King of Victoria at nighttime, wide open, with his bay windows all the way open, pantsless. Like, do you know where you are?
He wanted you to see his cock.
Hey,
Do you
buddy,
know where
I
you
hope
are?
you hear this.
That's
you know where
reverse
you are?
voyeurism.
Like, have some class. I'm sorry. I
Reverse
understand that you're in your home, but have some class. You're
Yeah.
in a corner lot
So,
in a nice part of town.
can we say then that lesson number 1 is to have some class and not show your whole neighborhood your cock?
have some class, Kitchener. Get it together.
Get it together.
Yeah.
Lesson number 2 is to go.
Brad, I'm glad you're still my friend.
Hey, no problem.
Lesson number 2 is be friends with Brad.
Yeah.
Always.
Hey.
There you go. Every good person needs a Brad. I have mine.
Yeah.
You have yours.
Yeah.
You probably will eventually have your own. Well, do Brads get Brads?
I've known some pretty shit Brads. Other than your Brad, I've known some pretty shit Brads, but
Well, Brad is usually like
I feel like if I didn't,
cock name,
I feel like
isn't
if I
it?
didn't know so many Brads, I
Good
would use
Brads.
Brad as a generic shitty white boy name.
Right.
When
yeah.
talking
Instead,
about
we use like
white boys.
Scott.
I don't use. I have a cousin named Scott. I can't use.
Oh
Scott.
fuck, that's right.
I use like
Actually,
Mike.
I was in a show with a guy named
Kyle.
Scott who was really
Chad.
nice.
Yeah.
Shout out to Scotty.
Yeah.
He was really
Chads.
cool. Todd. Yeah, Chad is the go-to.
Tanner.
Chad.
oh,
You will. Lesson number 3 is to
Connor.
never name your kid Chad ever
Yeah.
again. Like,
Yeah.
leave Chad alone.
My grandson is named Chad.
And
can I do a bonus?
Yeah,
lesson
yeah.
number 4.
Guess
Lesson number
lesson.
Brad.
Lesson number Brad. Serve the right Chris Hansen.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just get
Figure
the
out
right
which Chris
Hansen.
Hansen.
If you're
You
Onison in a court case and you need Chris Hansen to be there, make sure it's the correct
Do your
Chris
homework.
Hansen. Do your homework.
fucking
Yeah.
homework. Also, don't be Onision.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Just that.
Don't be a pedophile.
Don't wear a hat to court. It's never a good look.
Oh, don't even.
So gross.
Everybody Google
And
Onison
like your
court
gross,
outfit.
your gross Adidas that you obviously use to like mow the lawn in. You know.
Yeah, yeah. He didn't even wear his nice Adidas.
No,
you know, his
they
house
were,
Adidas.
They were
He
really
wore-
crappy Adidas.
A bulletproof or stab-proof
Yeah.
vest.
Yeah.
Who the fuck do you think is gonna kill you?
Yeah.
He's got a lot of people that hate him, dude.
I guess so. I guess so. But yeah, listen, guys. It's been a great podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Brad, for coming on.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Do
if
you-
you're so inclined, like, feel free to follow Brad on.
anytime I feel like.
on
Do you
Twitter.
want people to follow you on Twitter or anything?
Yes,
yeah,
you do.
you can go
Yes, you
ahead.
do.
I don't.
Yes,
I don't
you
tweet,
do.
I don't tweet much. I don't make original tweets. I do a lot of retweeting and whatever. But if you want to follow me, it is Brad Sherk, 2 B's, 2 K's, not Shrek, like most people think.
Somebody once
Yeah,
told
thanks.
me the
Yeah.
world.
It's gonna
Roll me.
me.
All right.
And I'm basically that across all platforms.
Cool.
Instagram, Snapchat. No, don't follow me on Snapchat.
No. Yeah, my Snapchat. I had a couple people. So my Snapchat, I realized, is public. Like I put it on my drawing account when I was really doing that.
Yeah.
And I've had people like follow me. And just recently, I like accepted this dude because like I don't care.
You're like, whatever.
But he kept like snapping me, and
you're
like
like,
trying to get like a streak going.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, delete.
None of
like
this.
I was like, I don't use Snapchat.
Yeah, a
None
few
of
years ago, I
this.
used to like, because occasionally I'll post like a YouTube video and whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
And I used to like promo my Snapchat and whatever.
Totally.
And I just had a Facebook on this day thing be like, oh hey,
Check this shit out.
remember when you posted your Snapchat code? And I was like, haha, bye.
I should really delete that.
And I was like, yeah, don't add me on Snapchat. Just follow me on Twitter and Instagram.
But cool then. Next week, Tuesday 3 p.m., you'll be able to find us in the Chill Spot. everywhere you find podcasts, as well as YouTube. Share it with your friend, share it with your enemies, share it with your mother, share it with your dog.
Share it with your ex-boyfriends who you might become friends with now.
But, you never know when you might start a
You know what?
podcast and bring
That's-
them on.
This is the real bonus lesson of the week. You can be friends with your ex.
We
Yes.
are living proof that you can.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's absolutely possible.
Exactly.
Just maybe date them in high school when like later on shit doesn't matter. So.
And
But don't date in high school. Just do that. Just
Yeah.
don't date in high
Just
school.
don't date in high
be
school.
sure to go on our YouTube channel and watch our gaming stuff because this, not this week, but the week after, you're gonna have some Brad related content.
It's the Sherk Boy week.
It's the Shirk Boy. It's Shirk Week.
It's Sherk week. Get ready for Sherk week.
Discovery Channel Shirk Week. And just like that, folks, we will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.